Starting day 5 off at the gas pump on the way to the plot. I want to tell you about my silly thing that I did last night. I decided that it is time that I need to start training, and I got myself written into a kickboxing class. Now, what they didn't tell me is that you pay quite a bit of money and then you spend an hour getting kicked and getting beaten half to death. So I woke up this morning with a hell of a headache, with very little muscles in my body that isn't sore, but very motivated to get fit. Ducks are starting their day out in the water. They have a fan, hotbit, that looks at this termite mound and says, I see the adding of the fowl or the birds to the garden didn't help with the termites. And so what he's referring to is, we had termites, so if you add a little bit of mulch around a tree like this, then that gets eaten by termites. And then the tree gets eaten by termites, and everything gets eaten by termites. And if you look at this termite mound here, that we are turning into a pizza oven. Lookie, net bo, net die gat. And you can imagine that there's quite a lot of termites left, and it's true. You will never get rid of the termites unless we use quite a lot of poison and serious things. We have about 13, quick count, 13 of those termite mounds on our land, but my idea is not to get rid of them, just to move them from the garden so they eat somewhere else. And for that the birds have helped quite a bit. Now when you say why not just get rid of the termites, because they eat all your mulch, they eat every single piece of wood. If you leave a piece of wood out overnight, the next night they've already started eating it. Why not just not get rid of the termites? One of our permaculture guys in Namibia, Grant, I think it was, said once that we have to remember that we don't really have a lot of earthworms in Namibia, native earthworms, and definitely not ones that lives on the surface in the drought, but we do have termites, and those are then the earthworms of Namibia. They take our hardwood species and they turn them into not compost really, but into ant droppings, you can almost say. And they turn them into, and then they turn them into protein as well. They, if you can then harvest them somehow and feed them to animals, you can turn that into food for a human. Now it's quite a rare thing, and it's quite a difficult thing to master. It's definitely one of our big challenges, because as a permaculture person you want to put mulch everywhere, but the more mulch you put out at the moment, the more termites you get, so you have to manage it somehow. The other benefits that we get from termites that we love is they put out once a year these big mushrooms, and we harvest enough and freeze dry them, or freeze them for the winter. So this is one of the mounds that doesn't produce them. We have other mounds on the property that do produce them, but this one for some reason doesn't. And I was even thinking of maybe taking some of those mushrooms and putting them into holes into this mound, and see if we can't inoculate a mound with mushroom seeds and see if these ones doesn't want to come and produce. Our termites build the mounds all facing north, so if you go hunt, for some reason you are lost, all the termites mounds has got a little point pointing to the north, exactly north. I think they do that for temperature control. And then the termites, when they plant the mushrooms, they also do that for food and for climate control in their burrows. So once you get to know these elements in a permaculture system, then they can become more productive. This is just one of the zai pits we are also working on, but to quickly leave and go and collect pig food. So I'm going to leave Lucas to his work on the anthill, and I'm going to go and collect pig food quickly in the town. So the very first thing we do is we come and we see Sunday. Sondag, hoe lyk it? He's hooking the trailer for us, and this is our gear to go and collect the pig food from the town. There you can see the sun coming up and the moon is greeting us, and this little baby lamb was born a couple of days ago. It's still a mission to get him hatched to its mother, so they have to catch the mother every day and then feed, sort of attach the lamb so he can nurse. Now we call those things bad mothers, and then they become dinner very quickly. If the mother doesn't accept the lamb, then you don't want that mother in your herd anymore. It's not, some sort of selection, definitely not natural selection because we eat them, but it's a good way of making sure that nobody else in the future have to struggle with a bad mother. So this is what we got this morning. All of this is filled up with food, and then these things are all filled up with food as well. This must be around 2 tons of pig food, I guess.
Yeah.
Just before the day starts, we can quickly grab some spinach that we can mix with the eggs, and then after breakfast we are ready to go to work. This double-story property we are renting out now for $450 US a month, 9,000 Namibian dollars, and so maybe a little bit less than 450. This kitchen we are closing up. This is where we'll be building a reception area, and then over here we are busy, Rebiston and Imps busy installing a dentist chair. In the back there's a little bit of a patio, and then you walk up the steps. Once you are up the steps, you have another sitting room, living room. This is a bedroom, and then another bedroom over here. It's always interesting to me to find out what other people in other countries pay for similar properties. Then some major bathrooms over here. Our rubbish tip is about 3 kilometers away from the town, and so whenever I have to bring out building rubble, or the last while I've been placing it here. This is our farm, or our plot. We're also about 3 kilometers out of town. I recycle those bricks from the building rubble, but the idea is then to use the rubble and the old building waste to fill up the land for about 1 meter high, and then this is where we want to place a building. This will then give my wife the opportunity to sit on the stoop and see the stables and see the arena and see the ring where the horses are being exercised. So Simon and Enzo are counting worms. We just got an order for 300. So this is red wigglers, and so in a little bucket. So what we do is we take a normal bucket, and Enzo heats up a little nail and he makes holes in there like this and this, and then we can courier them all over the country. Whoa, 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 stop. There's an egg right over there. Oh. You see that little egg there? It's got between 3 and 8 little worms inside of it. Right, that is the end of day 5. See you tomorrow.